Join us now for the expert source for inside information on the options markets. It's time for Options Insider Radio with your host, Mark Longo.
Welcome back to Options Insider Radio. Our next guest is actually a newcomer to the program. This is his first time on the show. He is Christopher Larkin, the Senior Vice President of U.S. Retail Brokerage at Etrade. Christopher, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Oh, glad to finally have you on. Like I said, we've had a lot of the other brokerage firms on over the years, and we keep meaning to bring Etrade on, and we finally have a chance to get you on the show and give the Etrade perspective for our listeners.
That's great. I always look forward to do stuff like this.
It's funny. We do obviously a lot of interaction with our users on our site and a bunch of other sites, whether it's basic retail, high-end retail, whoever it might be, even institutional. We always poll them and talk to them about what their favorite options platform is, their favorite options brokerage is, what tools they like. And whenever we do those things and poll them and rank them, Etrade is never at the top of the list. So I'm kind of curious, why do you think the active options retail guy isn't choosing Etrade as their first choice for options brokerage?
Well, I think we look at the options business in a few ways, and when we look at our success over the years. So I think number one, we've worked very hard to enhance the value proposition for option customers over the past 7 or 8 years, let's say. If I look back to 2003. About 3% of our trades were, represented option darts, as they call them right now, and we grew that to over, 18% of our trades. So over the past couple of years, we've done a lot, and the value proposition for us that we've always, focused on is price, product, service, and really a fourth one that's come up is education. And we've seen a lot of success from that side. So I think that what we do for our customers and what we look internally is we're seeing great growth of our own customer base today, and the amount of enhancements that we've done for options has been amazing. Especially if you look at some of the smaller niche brokers that option brokers that have come out, Options Express and Trade King and the like. That type of competition has made us much better as an online broker right now for option customers.
People email us all the time, or they post in our forums. They say, which broker should I choose? And they're looking, a lot of times the names that they're out are, Thinkorswim, Options Express, all of, the kind of targeted options brokerages. What would you say to them? Why should they choose Etrade over, let's say, like a niche one like Options Express or Thinkorswim, that this is what they do, options?
Yeah, I think that the customers has to choose, in terms of the comfort level of where they're going to choose for an online broker is, our customers are looking for things, well beyond just options for us. So in terms of the customers that are trading options or trading equities and things like that. So in terms of the platforms that they have, the comfort level, things like Etrade Pro, that type of platform that caters to sort of active customers that are out there. Our website, the wealth of information that they're getting between not just trading information, it's investing information, retirement accounts, the research that we offer on our site. So it's a whole suite of things that a customer will look at in order to make a choice on what's the right broker for me. And I think lastly, it'll be I think price is probably the least important for a customer as they go out and choose brokers. It's yet to be in the game, I think, in terms of pricing standpoint. But
be competitive.
It really comes down to the types of things that you're offering the customer, saying, for the price that we're charging for a particular commission, what am I getting in return for that? So in terms of that, it's not just the option stuff. I think a customer generally they choose Etrade for the other things that we have as well.
So you're going for, I think, a more holistic person as opposed to just the person who just wants options.
Yeah, I think in the end, we try to cater all types of customers. So we are, when you look at the spectrum of the options customer from beginning to advanced, we try to cater to all those customers. But in terms of where we think the most growth is from our side is to really get sort of that beginner to intermediate and really focusing on the educational parts of that. So I think that's really important for us from a customer standpoint is to look at where do we think the big growth is. We also, from a competition standpoint, if you think at least for the opportunity within the options space, is we have a tremendous opportunity just within our own customer base. We've got 2.6 million brokerage customers at Etrade. Only a relatively small percentage of our customers are enabled to trade options. Mm-hmm. So we have a tremendous opportunity just within our own customer base to compete.
That, yeah.
And then so we want to compete with the other brokers that are out there, but we've got a lot of work on our own side to just build our own customer base and treat that. But it's not unusual for most of our competition that a small number of customers are enabled for options.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I want to go back to is you mentioned education, is a big focus for you. And obviously that is a critical component to a lot of retail guys when they're choosing options brokerage firm. They want to have the one that offers strong education. Obviously Options Express does that. Obviously Thinkorswim does that. Tell us some of the enhancements you guys have made at Etrade to really offer some more education in the options spectrum.
Yeah, so we about 5 years ago, we made a committed effort to increase our educational offerings for our customers. The start of that really came into the technology that's changed. So, web seminars started, coming into play. So we're able to reach a lot more customers. Before we had to go out and get a hotel and, reach 50 customers. It's not very cost efficient. And then, even more with technology, we're doing a lot. So we do, offline, we still continue to do our investor education days. We would do about 12 of those a year in major cities. And we get about 500 to 1,000 customers at each one of those investor education days. From an online perspective, we do a live web seminar once a week from that standpoint. And then videos are now something new for Etrade. So we've actually been doing highly produced videos for our customers, which are in length of 10 minutes and all the way down to 3 minutes. We've now launched a 3-minute video series. So it's really getting the customers' interest in the products, such as options, in a 3-minute video. Then they go to the 10-minute, and then they go to the 1-hour web seminar. And then in terms of last year, we had a over 400% increase in customers that have viewed or attended one of our educational seminars on options alone. It's by far the number one requested type of education from our customers. It's the highest interest. And options for beginners, it happens to be the most popular out of all those that are out there. So we invest a lot in education. I think that one thing that that's changed over the years from education standpoint is, if you take a look back in 2000, 2001, I think most online brokers treated education as check the box. It was sort of the right thing to have it. I think as we've all transformed and, in terms of how we partner with our customers and this is the space as a whole, we've treated education as really partnering and want to be successful with our customers. So I think everybody has been spending a ton of money for education because we want to partner. We want our customers to be successful. And we're doing it because we think it's the right thing, not just to check the box, which is a big change for the industry.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people have realized, I think probably, especially with 2008, 2009, that the quality of the customer is important too. You want to make sure it pays off for the broker at the end of the day because you want them to stay around and be able to trade through those environments and not blow out in a scenario like 2008 or 2009. We saw that a lot with the options targeted firms that, the ones who had strong components of options traders, they tend to hang around longer in those kind of scenarios. They're more actively hedging, they do a lot of other things. They're a little bit more knowledgeable usually than your typical just equity guy, and so they tend to hang around longer in those environments. So brokers usually find that the investments in growing that options base usually pays off for them in the long run. And speaking of investments, there's kind of two tiers of things that people are interested in when looking at brokers from the options perspective. Obviously, education is one, and then tools and platform is the other. So I know you guys have done a lot to really invest in and upgrade your platform in the last few years to make it more attractive to options customers. So tell us what you've done over the past, recently to really kind of upgrade it and make it more appealing to the high-end options trader.
Yeah, so we just redesigned our marquee platform, Etrade Pro. We launched that into January to all of our customers. So we spend quite a bit of money to basically redesign the entire platform and add some functionality to it. One of the things that we included is just, a streaming live video of CNBC TV for customers to view in their platform, because we know that many of our customers don't have a TV. They might be at work or somewhere else, but they don't have access to financial information. So we added things like CNBC. In terms of the option side, I think one thing that we're excited about is we're in beta right now with portfolio margining. We're just awaiting FINRA final approval to launch that to all of our customers. So I think that portfolio margining is one of those things that we firmly believe in. That it's a very good long-term investment for us. It's a very intensive product in terms of trying to put it out there. The other thing that we put out for all of our customers, which everybody has to do, is the option symbology. That was quite a large project for us that all of us had to invest in. Again, firm believer that's going to help the customers that want to understand the product. I think that was a good investment. We've been spending a lot of resources last year getting that ready for live production, which is out there today. They just had another roll, I think, last week. And then we've rolling out the Penny Pilot program, another regulatory thing that we've done.
Anything like complex spread functionality, that sort of thing that would directly appeal to the active or higher end retail options guy.
Yeah, we have right now we have the ability for customers to do complex orders, but just with 2 legs right now. 3 and 4 legged spreads are coming in October of this year. So that's one project that we've been focusing on. There's been a bigger demand, I think, as customers have become more educated and there's been more information out there. Things like 3 and 4 legged spreads, where they used to be not a very big strategy before, is now becoming much more popular. And even like our spread, even just 2-legged spread business, has been one of our biggest growth areas from the option side there. So we're starting to see more customers get more sophisticated.
The popularity of iron condors alone with the retail side is
amazing.
That's the new hot strategy these days. One of the reasons I wanted to have you on, aside from just the perspective from Etrade, is that I've seen you on a lot of different panels here about execution quality. And the question I receive a lot from people these days looking to evaluate different brokers and choose a broker is like, how do I compare execution quality at different retail brokerage firms? And traditionally I've had a hard time answering them. I asked this to David Fisher over at Options Express recently. He said, well, the only way I can think of is to open multiple accounts and kind of trade through them and see who's better. I think there have to be a better way to do it, or easier way to do it than that, because most people aren't going to go to those lengths. So I'm kind of curious, as someone who spends a lot of time on execution, what would you recommend to someone who's looking to kind of compare execution quality at a couple different brokerage firms?
Well, I think number one is the customers generally will determine when it comes down to. I've talked about best execution before, and there's really no true definition of what best execution is for a retail customer. Certain things are more important for customers. Sometimes they value speed, sometimes they value price improvement, and we work really hard to try to get the best combination for our customers. I think the big thing from when you think about execution, quality in the marketplace, I just don't think it's a major issue for retail customers anymore, because it's really improved to the point where the executions are so fast. I mean, our average customer order is executed in less than 1 second. Option order, 8-9 years ago, I mean, you would never even imagine something like that. And even from the equity side, where you went from the point of execution guarantees. I remember back in, when I was working at Daytech back in, 1999, we came out with a 60-second execution guarantee. Nobody even touched that guarantee. In 60 seconds today, the customer's going to walk.
Yeah.
And that wasn't that long ago. So I don't think it's there. We welcome, we post our best execution stats on the equity side for the public to take a look at. In terms of from the option size, we welcome that as well. We like, if customers want to see data or talk to us about best execution, we're fine with it, but it all depends upon, the big thing with execution is what types of orders are you doing?
Yeah, it's a very difficult stat to put out there and make some sort of norm everyone can compare to. I've kind of been on the camp with you where I used to think that, it doesn't really matter as much for the retail end because they're doing 1 in 10 lots and their executions it's so fast these days, it's not as big of a deal. But what I've seen is talking to a lot of our users, and probably a little more advanced toward the higher end, people who are doing 10 plus contracts on a regular basis, 20 lots. I've been hearing a lot of surprising feedback from them that they're not getting good fills on 10 plus orders or even 20 lots. Things that you would assume you could get done pretty easily. They're getting partial fills. They're getting they're missing their executions when they're working limits and things that you think wouldn't be a problem. You hear those are traditionally complaints you hear from the 1,000 up institutional guys, not from the 10 to 20 lot retail guys. But I'm hearing that more and more, which kind of surprised me, which is why I wanted to mention the execution stats.
I mean, I think the retail. Just to follow up. With the retail customer, they're in a really good position right now. There's just so much competition that's just surrounding them that they don't need to do a lot of work. You've got the exchanges competing with one another. You have consolidators that are out there competing with one another. And then we've got the online brokers that are competing with one another. So in terms of the products that they're going to get, the execution, we know that we've got to deliver great executions or we're out of business. So we spend a lot of time with that. And if our customers are calling up and they have issues, we're going to go right to our consolidators and speak to them and find a way to fix that, enhance that. So, in terms of, and they want to fix that because they know that they're going to lose order flow if that doesn't get changed. So they're in a good spot where everybody's kind of competing, and competition in the interim, when it goes down to the customer, competition's fantastic for them, and they've really benefited over the past years. Competition has really stepped up over the past 5 years. So I think that retail customers can sit back and really enjoy what's going on around them without actually making phone calls out there. They're just benefiting each and every day.
It's funny, we have a lot of different broker representatives on the show, and we were talking to some guys from Thinkorswim recently, and they mentioned something. They're talking about the different benefits of their platform. They mentioned something which I didn't realize they had, but I guess they've had it since 2005, which I think was just genius. I think every brokerage should have it, and I think that would appeal to a lot of retail guys. It's a very small thing, but I think it's an interesting thing. They charge no commissions for if you're closing out a short for less than a nickel, which if you think about on the surface of it is actually fantastic. So we see that one of the problems we see with a lot of our retail guys is they use short options or they sell options. They get down to a dime or a nickel. They don't take them off the table, even though they could take a winner off the table and get rid of a lot of risk. But it makes sense for a broker to incentivize that because it's taking risk off for them, taking risk off for the customer, and it's just a better experience all around. So I've been passing that around to all the other brokers these days, try to get that implemented across the board. I think that would be fantastic for just your average retail guy to have that incentive. We should incentivize them to take risk off the table when they have, and I think they'll do it if we offer that to them. just my little my 2 cents for you today.
Yeah, and we do. I mean, we do that on. I would think from a we don't do it from an automated standpoint, but certainly from a customer, if they're calling up one, that's something that we would work with the customer to make sure that they're not paying more than what the actual option's worth. So
that's about all I have for you, Christopher. Unless there's something you'd like to add.
No, I mean this is great. If any kind of opportunity, I can come on here and talk about Etrade and what we're doing, updating what's happening out there. There's a lot going on in the marketplace, not just from the competition standpoint, but regulatory. There's a lot of things that are happening out there that'll impact the retail customers, going to impact the firms that are out there. So I think in terms of what's happening in the option space right now, there's a lot of exciting things that are going on right now, but there's going to be a lot of changes happening in the marketplace. So I think that you're going to hear a lot about how are people going to adjust to certain things that are happening out there.
And we're glad to finally have the Etrade perspective on the show. We'll definitely have to bring you back again, maybe look back on how things are going, how some of the initiatives you have been implemented. And we can give you some more feedback from our users about what they're doing with Etrade and what they like and what they want to see coming up. So thanks a lot for coming on. We'll look forward to having you on again.
Thanks for having me.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Options Insider Radio. Be sure to visit www.theoptionsinsider.com for more episodes of this program, as well as breaking news from the options market, the latest articles and analysis from options experts, a wide variety of options education, and of course our discussion center where you can share your questions, comments, and insights with your fellow Options Insider users. While you're there, be sure to register for our monthly email newsletter, as well as our free email alert system. Our email alert system makes it even easier to stay up to date on the latest content from theoptionsinsider.com. Thanks again for listening. My name is Mark Longo, and I'll see you next time on Options Insider Radio.
Options Insider Radio was created by Mark Longo and produced by Gene Crotty. Options Insider Radio is a production of the Options Insider Incorporated, all rights reserved.